Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Action Comics 140, the first comic to come out in 1950. Technically, it came out in December of 1949, but it's listed as January 1950, so we'll just start with the 50s right here. This is Superman Becomes a Hermit, which is an oddly passive title for Superman. Usually the Superman style of titles is Superman Hermit or Super Hermit, not Superman Becomes a Hermit. So Superman's acting strange. It's one of those stories, but it's not exactly following the structure. Usually when Superman's acting weird, it opens with Superman doing the strange thing as sort of a hook, and then it goes back and we start the story before then till we catch up. A flash forward more than a flashback. This one we actually stay with what's happening for a while, and then we actually flash back. So not exactly the same thing. Superman's out in the middle of the desert, I'm guessing Metropolis desert. So many terrains in Metropolis and its surrounding areas. He's sort of sitting like Rodin's The Thinker, and he's just sitting there. He's not really letting anyone nearby. He won't answer any questions. Everybody's trying to get into his little facility. We get some fun with his powers where he essentially sets up a bunch of things to keep people out. Of course, it's Lois Lane who cannot help get right in there to find out what Superman is hiding. And what is Superman hiding? Well, a massive plant that came from outer space, and its vines are growing into the earth, killing everything. The Creeping Terror, as he calls it, not to be confused with the B-horror movie, The Creeping Terror, where they actually lost the sound when they recorded it. So most of the movie is told through a voiceover. Also, The Creeping Terror does not look very good. It was an MST3K episode, that's how I've seen it. It's also on in the Sci-Fi Diner at Disney World, if you ever been to Disney World. Not the whole movie, just some clips. They never do the whole movie. Criminals try to show up to steal it because they realize that Superman's probably protecting something, but, you know, that only goes so far with them. Really, this story is all a setup to him using his heat ray, but not exactly his heat ray. He finds that his X-ray vision does some actual damage to the vines. Now, previously, in the Big Hunter issue, he was able to destroy the vines with his X-ray vision, actually doing some radiation damaging. That was the first time you can sort of argue that maybe he used his heat ray, or the idea of the heat ray is coming through. And this is basically the same idea. The radiation from his X-ray vision is doing damage to the Creeping Terror, but it's growing too fast, and coming from his eyes is too small of a location. So he builds a device to amplify his X-ray vision and destroys the Creeping Terror. It's actually not really well set up. There is no building to this. There is no tension. It just more or less ends abruptly. I mean, it's like the most abrupt Superman ending since that one prankster story where I had no idea it was going to end until it ended. And that's even if you're counting the pages. There was no structure to set up a climax and an ending. It barely had a resolution. So the 50s are not starting out all that great. But don't worry, it's going to be a very fantastical decade, along with a lot of problematic things. Oh boy, are we in for it. Okay, that is it from Action Comics 140, Superman Becomes a hermit that's constantly being bothered. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notification when new videos up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story, neither Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? And what happened with these creeping terrors? This feels like something that could come back up. Okay, have a great day.